Have you ever heard of the anime Madoka Magica? It's infamous online for its surprisingly depressing story, and for its brutal deconstruction of the magical girl genre. One of the most notable people who worked on it was a man named Gen Urobuchi, known online as Eurobutcher, after his tendency to horribly kill off his characters. Believe it or not, Madoka Magica may be loosely based on an actual case that occurred in Japan a while ago. It was the killing of 5 middle school-aged girls. There weren't many things they shared, except for the fact that the killer left something referencing a magical girl anime at each crime scene. Don't believe me? Well, after doing some digging, I may have some evidence to support my claim. Madoka Kaname, the title character, may have been based on the first victim, a girl named Sayuri Otonashi. Sayuri was a sweet girl who adored animals. She cared deeply about her friends, and was nice to just about everyone she met. Aside from that, she wasn't terribly remarkable, since she achieved average grades and never got into trouble. One day, she failed to check in with her parents after school, which was unusual, since she always made sure to tell them if she was going to be late getting home. 2 months later, her body was found. She had been physically abused before ultimately being killed. An autopsy revealed that her body had absorbed a lethal amount of antifreeze. It was administered through her final meal. A card with a picture of Sailor Moon was found on her body, possibly placed there by Sayuri's murderer. Katsumi Fukumoto was the second victim, her body cut into pieces and scattered around a field. She was an extremely intelligent but quiet girl, known for her high grades and introverted nature. Once you got to know her, you'd find that, despite her reclusive nature, she was a faithful friend who would jump to your defense in an argument. Like Sayuri, her remains were found after a 2-month period. The autopsy showed that she was still alive when she was being cut apart. A card with a picture of Cutie Honey was found with her head. She may have been the inspiration for Homura Akemi. Izumi Sakaki, the likely inspiration for Mami Tomoe, was a pretty, well-mannered young woman. She was known for babysitting children who lived nearby, and had a penchant for cooking. She rather liked cheesecake and would sometimes share the sweets she made with her young charges. Izumi was fairly mature for her age, and carried herself in a manner similar to a grown woman. After vanishing from her school one day, she was found after 2 months with her head cut off. It was found with her body. a card with an image of Hikaru, Umi, and Fu from Magic Knight's Ray Earth was found on her chest. Kyoko Sakura's inspiration was a girl named Avaron Sugawara, the daughter of a Protestant pastor. Avaron was a stubborn, fiery tomboy with a fast metabolism. She was almost always seen snacking on something in order to keep herself from going hungry. Even though she was abrasive at times, she had a good heart, since she worked hard to help her father's church grow. Like Izumi, Katsumi, and Sayuri, she disappeared in broad daylight and was found 2 months later, a gunshot wound to the chest. In her mouth was a card with an image of Sakura Kinomoto from the anime Cardcaptor Sakura. Out of all of the 4, her death was relatively tame when compared to the others. The last of the 5 victims was Tsukiko Kadokawa, who was the only one who was connected with one of the other victims for reasons other than having a card found with her body. In her case, it was a card with an image of the character Karina Hanazono from the anime Kamichama Karin. Tsukiko's death was the most brutal and disgusting of the 5, since, unlike the others, the autopsy revealed that she had been vaginally and anally raped repeatedly. Another detail of the autopsy revealed was that she had suffered anal prolapse shortly before she died. The prolapse was likely caused by the anal rape. The rape occurred both pre- and post-mortem. Tsukiko was friends with Sayuri, and the 2 of them hung out regularly. According to her schoolmates, Tsukiko was crushing on an older boy in her school and visited him regularly. Like Sayuri, Tsukiko was abducted when heading home. Her body was found 4 months after Avaron's body was found. Her limbs had been broken in several places due to being beaten, and her death was caused by having her intestines pulled out through her rectum. Another detail the autopsy revealed was that she had suffered anal prolapse shortly before she died, something her killer exploited when he gutted her. Tsukiko was likely the inspiration for Sayaka Miki, the best friend of Madoka Kaname. The question is, why would Urobuchi make a depressing yet somewhat tame magical girl anime involving characters based on the brutal murders of 5 middle schoolers? My personal belief is this. In his own twisted way, he wanted to give the souls of these 5 girls closure by sharing their stories in a subtle way. One could even associate the character of Kyubi, a creature that looks as if it would fit right into the world of Sailor Moon, with the killer who lured these girls to their deaths. A seemingly harmless character, offering his victims something they really want, only to stab them in the back later on. The backstories and abilities of each girl also relate to the victims. Hamura's ability gave her the power to go back in time, creating countless splintering timelines. Much like how Katsumi's body was found, cut into pieces. The event that led Sayaka to her demise was related to something that was significant to Tsukiko's life. Kyoko's soul gem was placed in the center of her chest, when she shifted into her magical form, the same place where Averon was shot. Sayuri, like Madoka, wasn't really all that remarkable, although her kindness and loyalty made her stand out among her classmates. As for Mami, her maternal relationship to Madoka and Sayaka, as well as her demise, are possible references to Izumi. As for the magical girl aspect of the show, it's possible that the cards left behind by the killer at each crime scene may have inspired it, connecting the 5 characters to the series, much like how the cards connect the 5 victims to each other. Did he succeed? I like to think he did.